So I got into SMP about 6 years ago. And the reason I got into SMP, man, honestly, there was a lady that came to my barbershop to explain to us what scalp micropigmentation was, just so that we could send referrals to her and then she would pay us for the referrals. She explained to us, you know, how SMP helps people, and, you know, showed us some pictures of different results from different clients that had SMP. And, you know, I looked at it and I was like, man, this is great. You know, I could definitely send some people their way. And then obviously the incentive she gave us was, you know, $250 to $300 per client that she would send us. So I was like, man, of course. I've got a lot of clients that are balding, that are losing their hair. I always specialized in cutting people's hair that were losing their hair in certain ways that I could camouflage, right? Thin out the hair in the darker areas so that it blends into the light areas, just to give the illusion that they're not losing their hair. It's just a little bit lighter. Even adding some enhancements, whether it was hair dye or hair fibers, you know, whatever it was that it took for my clients to feel good about themselves with those haircuts. So I had a huge clientele about that. I had a huge clientele with hair loss. Honestly, in my family, the only person to lose their hair is one of my uncles. Everybody else pretty much has, our grandparents, everybody has a full head of hair. So I experienced the breakdown that he went through with his hair loss and all of that. So, you know, I always had a certain spot in my heart to be able to take care of these clients that are losing their hair with these haircuts. And then at the same time, man, you know, once you know how to cut somebody's hair that's losing the hair in a way that it makes them feel good, and it's not exposing their baldness anymore, they are loyal to you for the rest of their lives, you know, until it is time to shave the hair. So a lot of my clients, they would trust whatever I would tell them. They would trust. They tell me, yo, Jesse, you know what, man, when you think it's time, if it looks like we're trying too hard, bro, just let me know, and I'm gonna hate it, but you tell me when it's time to shave it. So, you know, honestly, the kind of person I'm definitely a guilty-minded individual, man. So I'm gonna try so hard to make sure that they have that look that they have for as long as they can. So I would try until it would get to the point where it's like, all right, you know what, I feel like I'm doing him an injustice because he's looking kind of weird. It's not really, it's noticeable, you know. So at that time, you know, I had that conversation with them and tell them that it's time. And you know, just that look on their face is like, damn, you know, they really don't want to accept it, but they trust me because of the relationships that I built with them. So, you know, just that feeling right there used to crush me as well, man. You know, I built relationships. I didn't build the clientele. All the clients that I used to cut, they were like close friends. They were like family. Even if we didn't hang out outside of the barbershop, like in that barbershop, in that chair, they'd express everything with me and to me. So, you know, I felt like it was my obligation to make sure that they look great. So, you know, when that lady came through, I went ahead and I sent the client to go get it done. And man, listen, they messed him up bad. They messed him up bad. He had these big old dots. They were all blue. So, you know, I'm a guilty individual, man. And honestly, I took full blame for that just because I really didn't do my full research with this person. You know, she showed me some pictures and all of that, and kind of find out those weren't even her pictures. The company that she learned from used to provide them with marketing content, provide them with pictures, things like that to try to sell themselves as an SMP artist. And this was about, I'm gonna say 7-8 years ago. All right, so I ended up paying for that guy's laser tattoo removal. You know, I did some research, found out that laser tattoo removal could wipe away the SMP. It took about 4 sessions to remove his because of how bad and how drastic it was. So, you know, I took care of that 100%, took full responsibility, paid for it, got it done. And then at that point, I was like, man, definitely SMP is not it, man. Hell no, you know, like it's trash. Definitely no tattoos on the head. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people think that way still today when they see bad procedures. But let's move on. About a year later, I'm at a hair show because, you know, I used to travel all over the United States, man, throwing these hair shows with Exotics, with Curtis Smith. Shout out to Kurt and Exotics. So we used to throw these shows all over the place. And we were in Miami one day at the show that we threw out there. And I was talking to this one individual, and it's actually one of Magic's close friends. So I'm here talking to him, and the whole time I'm looking at him, you know, I'm a barber. So I'm looking, I'm checking out his haircut. Like it's hard for barbers to look somebody in the eye like we look at the hairline, right? All my barbers watching this, I know y'all laughing because you know how it is, man. We always just looking at people's hairline, looking at the haircut. We don't look nobody in the eyes. But you know, I'm paying attention to his head as we're having our conversation, and I see that it's just smooth and shiny. Like there's no hair stubbles. I started profiling him to kind of see if I see any like little stubbles poking out his head. And yo, he had a great SMP procedure. I really thought that he had like a half on top skin bald fade with a nice natural somewhat crispy hairline. So you know, I kind of stopped in mid conversation. I was like, yo, you got scalp micropigmentation done? And he was like, bro, how did you know? And you know, I had just found out about it. You know, I explained to him the whole situation that I had, but at that moment is when it clicked in my head. I was like, man, so after seeing one in person and knowing that there is a possibility for a scalp tattoo, a hair tattoo to actually work and look good, I said to myself, you know, I've been a barber for over 26 years. I've been an artist my entire life. I'm really good at looking at something and mimicking it when it comes to drawing anything. So I was like, man, you know what? I got to get into this. I have to. My clientele, I have a huge balding clientele, and they could absolutely use this. Around that same time, you know, the hair units were starting to kind of pick up. So I was kind of like back and forth. Yo, should I get into doing hair units? Or should I get into scalp micropigmentation? So I kind of, you know, went back to the barbershop after that hair show and just started asking all my clients, yo, let me ask you a question. If I was to get into doing scalp tattooing, scalp micropigmentation, or hair units, which one would you prefer to get done? So, you know, nothing against the hair units, but my clientele, 99% of them, their responses were basically, nah, bro, I'm not leaving work on Friday, bald head, coming in on Monday with a high top or with hair on my head. It's just not, you know, maybe if I was moving out of state to a whole different place where nobody knows me, maybe I'll do it then. But honestly, but the tattoo looks official, man. Like, it looks super undetectable. Like, you know, I was showing them good pictures, and, you know, after finding out about this, I found out about this company in New York. Shout out to Jero, right? They were doing SMP, and one of the guys that's part of Jero, named Roberto, he's also a barber, and he's I want to say he's the first barber that I've seen doing scalp micropigmentation, 100% the first one doing it. So, you know, huge shout out to him, because I was able to see good SMP performed by a barber. So that kind of helped me want to get into this. So, you know, after doing my research, really finding out with my clients if they were cool with getting it done, and if it was going to be something that I could provide for them, I said, all right, run it. It's time to get into this. At the time, I didn't know how much scalp micropigmentation costed. I did not know, you know, the financial benefits of doing scalp micropigmentation. All I cared about was providing my clients with a service that would give them back that look, that would give them back that confidence, that would kind of like spark their love life again, that would just give them that little extra, just that little extra feeling that they need to feel fulfilled, right? Some of these guys, man, they're perfectly in shape, you know, they're out there living their best life, they got all the money in the world, you know, they travel, they do all of this, but man, like, being a barber, like a psychologist, man, some of these people really open up to you and tell you, you know, how they're really feeling, you know, and when it came to that whole hair loss thing, it was really a touchy subject. So I was like, man, you know what, I have to get into this. So before I went ahead into the class for about 3 months, I was telling all my clients, yo, listen, I'm about to get into this industry for you. I'm about to I was telling everybody, I'm about to get into this industry to be able to give you back that look that you have of hair on your head. And it's basically creating little stubble that looks like hair is growing back in the areas that you're missing. So you don't have to worry about your hairline being way up here no more. You don't have to worry about that horseshoe dark shadow around the sides no more. You don't have to worry about that no more. Like, I'm gonna get into this to help you out with it. So, you know, that's why I got into it. And man, all my clients were so receptive. I had about 26 models ready to go the moment I took the class. So I went ahead, took the class, learned how to do scalp micropigmentation, and just started offering it. And I could easily tell you that it's been a total game changer, a total life changer. From, you know, being a barber, I genuinely love to cut hair. For multiple reasons. I love to create, you know, I'm very artistic. So just creating a fade, doing these crazy designs that I used to do in people's heads with all these, you know, characters with the color and all of that stuff. Like the whole art about it is what made me fall in love with cutting hair. And then on top of that, what was the icing on the cake was the way people felt after they had a good haircut. Like that confidence. People come in with their head down and they'll leave ready for the party, ready to, you know, go out there and do what they do. Whether they were having, you know, they just got in an argument with their girl at home, or they're just going through a tough time in their life, they always left the barbershop high-spirited, you know. So now that only lasts for, you know, a couple weeks until they need to get their haircut again. So when I started doing scalp micropigmentation, it's the same exact feeling. It is art, for one. So that, you know, number one, my biggest passion is art. So I fell in love with doing SMP just because of the pointillism, the art that it takes to do scalp micropigmentation, with creating that nice even density, creating those nice fades, creating those nice symmetrical hairlines, you know, and customizing it to everybody, because it's not the same hairline for every person. Like every single client is completely different. The way you got to blend into the hair, like it's so interesting because it's the same look, but it's such a different strategy for every single client that you do. So it just keeps you engaged. It keeps you engaged. And then on top of that, man, the way these people feel, bro, like to be able to witness grown men cry because of how good they look now, because they got that look back, to be able to feel that fulfillment of giving somebody their image back and just being able to have them live this way for the rest of their lives. All they got to do is just shave their hair down, or if they still have a little bit of hair, just adding that little density so that it prolongs them having to shave it down, so it still looks like they have enhancements, but they don't even have to worry about it. Like just that sense of feeling right there is the biggest game changer ever. And then, you know, we go into the financial part of it. You know, before getting to scalp micropigmentation, I was in debt big time with traveling for all of these shows and trying to build a name for myself. I invested a lot of time, a lot of money. My wife, listen, shout out to my wife. She's a huge reason why we are where we are today, why I am where I'm at today. Just from leaving Miami to coming here to Tampa, to opening up my first barbershop, to going to my first hair show. Like, she's the reason that pushed all of that, you know. So the reason we were in debt was because she believed in what I was trying to do and believed in me so much that we had to, like, it is what it is, whatever it takes, just let's make it happen, right? So I was over $200,000 in debt before I got into scalp micropigmentation. So just the investment of learning SMP was another, you know, add-on to that right there, put on another credit card, right? And the crazy thing is that right after taking my class, man, there was a hurricane that hit Florida. Not a major hurricane, you know, just something simple. Came through Tampa, a tropical storm, didn't really do nothing. But where I lived at, I was next to a river, man. So long story short, man, I had 8 feet of water in my front yard. So from August to December, right, I started pushing SMP as hard as I could, made about $50,000, fixed my house, got it sold, moved out of there, all before the insurance company even kicked out any money for the house or anything like that. And it's all because of scalp micropigmentation. That was such a huge blessing. And obviously my clients that believed in me, that just kind of the moment I got into this, they just ran with me because they knew the passion that I have for it, the artistic abilities that I have, how careful I am, and how much I care about people to not mess them up. So I'm very, very cautious, and I'm definitely a type of individual that if I get stuck in a situation, I will analyze and figure out how to get out of that situation. So I'm very, very intuitive that way. So it definitely helped out. And because of that, you know, these people just trusted me. People flying from all over the country to come get SMP, and all these relationships that I built through this barber industry. Barbers coming from all other states, barbers sending me their clients from other states. You know, it was a huge help, man. So to everybody that's been with me from the beginning with this, man, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for y'all, this wouldn't be what it is today. So, you know, long story short again, man, I was able to pay off that debt within a year, you know, doing scalp micropigmentation. Definitely have had some mentors through this whole process, like my man Chris Herrera, the art of SMP, one of the only people that have ever held me accountable when it comes to this industry, and just kept on pushing me. Yo, Jess, don't leave the money on the table. Jess, this is amazing, this is working. You know, we both started at the same exact time. So with things like that, you know, everything just kind of evolved and everything just kind of changed, man. And again, bro, you know, reason I got into scalp micropigmentation is to help people because I truly care. I've always cared about people. That's why I got into barbering. That's why I do scalp micropigmentation. That's why I've been teaching from the moment I stepped into a barbershop at the age of 16 years old. I've been teaching barbers ever since because I care to help people and put people on. If something works for me, why not share it with others? You know, so that's just my little quick story, man, of how I got into scalp micropigmentation, why I got into scalp micropigmentation, and why I believe in it so much, man. So, you know, if you guys have any questions, leave me some comments here. Shoot me a DM, give me a shout. Go to our website, 6e.life. And, you know, I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to put people onto this amazing industry and truly mentor you guys to take you guys to the next level. For all of my clients, potential clients out there watching, if you're really searching, you know, definitely do your research. Make sure that the person that you're going to cares, but not only cares, does amazing work and is willing to take the time to talk to you and detail and break down everything how scalp micropigmentation is going to work for you, or if it's not going to work for you, because it's not for everybody. So thanks again for y'all time. Peace.